Hello everyone, this is Jeff, Whiskey and Lorena with Back to Country, and yes, it's time again to go back to the property. So Jeff is getting ready to go. I'm going to stay behind and I will meet him in a few weeks. I have some business to take care of here in the city.
Yep, I wanted to leave today actually, but unfortunately things happen, and last trip driving back developed a little bit of an exhaust leak on the RV, so I thought, well, let me fix that before I go, because you know, one of the challenges of what we're doing now is it's almost a 400-mile drive from our house in San Antonio to our property in Northeast Texas. So, you know, if you're going to drive 400 miles, you definitely want your vehicle to be squared away. So I thought, okay, let me get that fixed. I thought I just needed to tighten a few bolts or something, and no, as I got to inspecting, I discovered the pipe was really cracked and everything. I'll show you all that here in a minute. But now I'm working on fixing that, and when I was down fixing that, I discovered another problem, that I've got a radial arm bushing that's out, and so I've got to fix that too. So back to playing mechanic, and I'll work on getting all that fixed and then get loaded so that I can head out and get back to the property.
Yes, and we are trying to find someone to do our concrete work. So that's where he's going now, so we can get it done.
Yep, that's probably the number one priority. Of course, got some other things to work on, but really need to get going on that slab. Hopefully we can find a contractor that'll work with us and let us do most of the work, so that we can try to keep the rising costs under control and not go totally broke before we get to the finish line. So yep, that's pretty much where we're at. Stay with us. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and give us a big thumbs up. That really helps the channel. But other than that, enjoy the video of the issues we just talked about, and yeah, stay with us. So this is the front end of the exhaust pipe off of the RV. Took us a few hours to get it off. Not really the kind of job you want to do in your driveway, but we work with what we got. Of course, what I originally thought was I had an exhaust leak here. There's a donut right here where this mounts up to, and I could see a little exhaust blowout around this, so I thought that was my exhaust leak. However, further inspection told me that I had way more exhaust than this little amount. So much bigger, deeper sound like a vehicle, you know, without a muffler, versus just a spitting sound that you would get from a real small exhaust leak. So I started to look closer and closer, and here's what we found. So this whole piece of exhaust pipe here, we've got a crack here that runs around. It cracks again here, goes all the way around this piece of pipe, clear down to about there. So, you know, in theory I could kind of clamp this and weld it all back together, but because it has so many cracks, another crack right there, I believe that the metal just has too much fatigue and is fully compromised. So I think if I weld it, it's just a matter of time before it cracks here or somewhere else. So I don't think this is really repairable. So what I'm gonna have to do now is take this to a muffler shop, because this isn't a piece that you can just typically go to the auto parts store and purchase and then weld it on yourself. I think this piece has to be manufactured. So what I'm gonna have to do is take this to a muffler shop, and they'll have to cut this piece off and build a new piece to go on there exactly the same, because you know these two pieces, this one over here and that one there, literally have to match up and provide the right angle and everything so that it'll go back on to the engine, the exhaust manifolds, and bolt up. So it has to be done right. Hopefully we can find a place to do it, but this is an example of the kinds of things that go wrong and just delay my return to the property. So that's where we're at. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I went to muffler shop and had to have a piece built. This isn't something you could just buy off the shelf, so we had to have a piece built. First we went to Midas muffler shop, and believe it or not, they won't work on anything unless they totally take it off the vehicle and everything. So bye bye Midas, I won't give you business or my business ever again. I like places that want to work and don't mind helping you out. If you need a part built, muffler part, they got the benders and everything to do it, and they'll do it for you. So I went to a mom and pop kind of muffler shop, and they were more than happy to make the part that I needed. This is the part that we ended up with. So basically they took a straight piece of pipe, they put the bend in it, and then they put it on the machine to put the flange on it. This piece came off of the old one, and then they put an expansion on this end, expanded the pipe so that I can basically remove what's left here of the old pipe. Maybe you can see the old pipe in there. Remove this piece of pipe, and then I should be able to slide that right over, put this all back on, fit it, tack weld it, and then take it off again and weld it all solid in place, and it'll be fixed. So that's where we're at. Just got some grinding and everything to do to remove that, and then try to get it all fitted up and tack welded, and then weld it solid and put it back on again, and then we'll get started on those radius arm bushings. If it ain't one thing, it's another, but we'll get it done. Alright, so we used a grinder and a cutting wheel to get the old piece of pipe off, and then the new piece of pipe can slide right over, be twisted and adjusted to get it lined up right, and then we come in with the welder and tack it on, then remove the whole thing and get a good solid weld on there, and that'll be fixed. So I'm under the RV. This is the radial arm, and that right there are the radial arm bushings, and then there's another bushing behind it here. So two in the front, a big washer, and then it goes through this mount, and there's another bushing and a washer and a nut to hold it all together. That keeps your front end in the right position. So that one is actually good. If we come over here to the other side, this one is kind of guarded by a shield for the exhaust, but we can see here it like melted, and this bushing is kind of dry rotted and just pretty much shot. And I don't know if we can see, but there's actually a gap in here where it's pushed back because these bushings up front aren't holding it forward enough. So that of course is causing wear on the tire. You can see this inside right here is not wearing like it's supposed to, right there. So We've got to get the radial arm back in the correct position to push that tire forward and get it back into alignment. So that's the next job we got to do after we get the exhaust all done. As always, thanks for watching.
God bless you. Be safe. Adios, amigos.
We'll see you on the next one.